Hi, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. It is, I know this, February 2nd. So a couple things first. The Positive Energy Circle had its premiere yesterday, and it has done really, really well. I have gotten some amazing suggestions for other areas that we're going to want to look at, and we will be doing that. So look forward to the next one on Sunday. Feel free to continue to use the one for the United States that we did because there's a lot going on this week. So thank you. That was amazing, and I'm just so thrilled that it has been well received. I'm very grateful for that. Okay, so you got two major things going on in the United States this week. You have that farce of a trial wrapping up and coming to conclusion. So so no witnesses, no nothing. Let's just do closing statements today and let's just get this sucker wrapped up. So that's really sad. So I got a question from one of my viewers, and it was a valid question. I take absolutely no offense, and I know that she meant none by asking the question. But she said, like everybody said that there was going to be witnesses. What happened? You guys keep saying there's going to be these big bombshells, and nothing happens. Well, okay, so here's my answer for that. Those bombshells, they keep coming. They keep coming. I mean, just look at the headlines in the last 10 days, 14 days, 20 days. It is crazy what has been going on in your country. But what is happening is, for some reason, the hold that McConnell has on those Republicans, and by extension, the incredible hold that Trump has on those Republicans, is creating an environment where anything that would normally be a safe sort of assumption or guess is just out the window. I mean, no offense intended to my viewers, okay? But you are a country as a whole that just about crucified Barack Obama for wearing a tan suit in the summer. And you now have a president in office who has lied at least 16,000 times. He has admitted to, bribery and affairs and money laundering. And it makes no sense. But for some reason, nothing seems to shake that base of his. And so, I mean, from a spiritual level, from that 30 feet perspective, what I can say is the lessons need to continue to be learned. And if anybody saw the written message that I sent out over the weekend, and that was, for those of you who recognize that was channeled from Masudi, S-E-A-U, but what they said is that in some ways, the country has gotten into such a place that it almost needs to be completely brought down on its knees, and things get broken to the point where there really is no option to fix it and fix it correctly. So I'm sorry if you were disappointed. I was profoundly disappointed on your behalf. As an intuitive, sometimes we get it right, sometimes we get it wrong. But it always makes me sad if I have sort of given somebody a false hope because I have somehow interpreted something, and then that ends up not to be accurate. So all I can say right now is clearly the damage, the corruption, the rot has sort of gone so far down that it really is looking like there's going to be almost like a major excavation in order to clean some of this stuff out. So there's that. No question, he's going to be acquitted. He's not going to be found guilty. There isn't going to be any immediate repercussions for him. The Republicans are going to be in for a bit of a bumpy ride, though, because these stories, this information continues to come out. So for the next very long while, I would say until almost probably November for sure, the Republicans have put themselves in a position where they are going to have to justify what they did. And they're gonna, okay, they're gonna, because you know how they're gonna justify it? They're gonna say, it's not a big deal. Okay, he did it. It was wrong. It shouldn't have done that. Not good. But you know, so what? So what? That's literally become the slogan for the Republican Party. So what? So there's going to be a lot of work to do to fix this. Okay, so there's that. So, you know, all I can say is just continue to hang in there. Keep your thoughts as positive as you can, because we don't want them being attached to bringing anything negative forward, okay? And we together are going to work our way through this and get to the other end somehow, okay? Do I think that there's still a good possibility that he leaves office early? Yeah, I do. March is no longer looking really strong. July is. And I know I can hear you out there saying, my God, you guys keep moving the goalposts. Well, you know what? So do the Republicans, okay? They are harder than a greased pig to get a reading on, because their morals have fallen so far into the gutter that normal expected reactions are just frankly not there. Okay, that's one. Two, I saw a poll over the weekend, and I have to tell you, it made my blood run cold, and it honestly frightened me for your country. So the question the poll asked was, if your candidate doesn't win the nomination, are you going to support whoever the Democrats nominate? So Biden and Buttigieg and Klobuchar, the people who support them and are following them were literally up in the 80s and 90s. So yeah, absolutely. Whoever gets in, we're putting all our energy behind that person because we got to get Trump out of the office. Okay. 50%, 50 a couple, and then 50% for both, for Bernie Sanders, and I believe it was Elizabeth Warren. I could be wrong, but for sure Bernie Sanders. We're like, yeah, no, I don't think so. I'm not gonna. And that really frightened me, because this whole exercise has been globally, okay, the country, the exercise, the lesson that the country is learning is how to group together, bring forces together and fight against evil, fight against the darkness. And when you have a significant number of, and let's face it, Bernie is doing well, okay? But when you have 50% of his followers saying, yeah, no, him or nobody, that's scary, because you know what? That is exactly how you got Trump. And again, please remember, I'm Canadian. I don't have a horse in this pony. I simply look and see and hear what I see and look and hear, okay? So that's what I'm seeing, and the energy behind that was really, really concerning to me, okay? So, you know, give that some thought, right? I mean, it's really scary, because that means that there's a significant group of people out there who aren't understanding the lesson. They aren't understanding that this country finally has to pull together and move forward as a united force to stomp out the dark, to stomp out evil, to not let this kind of behavior and attitude prevail. And yet you have it, okay? So let's hope that that can shift and change. I know that when, you know, people get involved in a political campaign and they decide to support somebody, it is all in, okay? And that's amazing. But at some point when your candidate has lost, if they lose, it's very sad that a whole bunch of sort of the mainline, the middle of the road politicians, their people are more than willing to go over to the other side and do whatever they can to help. But the candidates on the left, sort of on more of the extreme left, their followers are like, yeah, no, I don't think so. That's what it is right now. And let's hope that we can get that changed, because that's a really big concern. So, okay, the Iowa caucuses tonight. And you people have sent me amazing information about the caucuses and the primaries and how this all works. Frankly, it confuses the crap out of me, okay? But so one by one, as they come up, I'll see what I can do to address them. Okay, so we're in Iowa tonight. And so this is kind of the first time that we're going to get to see, with, I guess, some clarity, what this thing is going to look like going forward. I can tell you that energetically, I don't want to say that whoever wins tonight isn't going to win. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is that just overall, it doesn't look like the things that would give you indicators of how a race was going to go in the past are not going to actually hold so firm in this particular nomination race, pretty much all the way through, okay? Now, that might change a little later on, but right now, it's so fluid. It is still so very, very much in the air. So it's really, really kind of hard to get a read on what that's looking like going forward. But for right now, anyways, it really does sort of look like this thing is going to be unusual in the way it sort of unfolds. And so there's definitely going to be, it's going to be harder to get a read on for the talking heads and the people who, do political analysis and stuff. It's not going to be quite so clear cut. Okay, here we go. So this is what I'm going to do because it's the Iowa caucus today. I'm going to take a look at, and I'm going to lay out a series of cards for each candidate, if you will, and sort of maybe the top 5. And let's see how that looks. Okay, and I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that it'll give me some insight as to how it looks for literally today. But with such a huge percentage of voters out there still undecided, again, it's fluid and it's going to be hard to get a real read on this. You have to understand when you're dealing with intuitives, they are giving you the most likely possibility. They're not saying this is set in concrete. Nothing's set in concrete because everything is free will. Okay, so here we go. My question is going to be, come on down, because I have a question. My question is going to be, let's move this out of the way and give me a little bit more room. Tell me about how the candidates are going to do in Iowa tonight. And if you so desire, how are the candidates going to do in the race overall? Here we go. Iowa candidates nomination, Iowa candidates nomination, Iowa candidates nomination. Show. This is how we're going to do it. Biden, Sanders, Buttigieg, Warren, Klobuchar. Okay, let's see what we see. Biden. Okay, he's got the Knight of Cups, the King of Cups, and the Ten of Cups. Bernie Sanders has. He's got the Ace of Pentacles, the Wheel of Fortune, and the Four of Swords. So that's interesting. Buttigieg. The Four of Pentacles, the Ace of Cups, and the Queen of Swords. Warren. The Eight of Wands, the Seven of Cups, and the Six of Swords. And Klobuchar. The Three of Pentacles, the Page of Wands, and the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so let's see what I can see here. All right, so for Biden. He has got a bucket full of cups here. So what that's telling me is that Biden has a way of connecting emotionally with people. He is the candidate that is most able to calm the fears about somebody not being able to beat Trump. He is the candidate that most people feel has the chops to beat this guy in office right now. So, he's a little wobbly, I guess. I don't know in the polls, but overall, it feels as if he's kind of, well, come on, he's Uncle Joe from what I understand. Isn't that what you guys call him? So he's that older, stable, energy that makes you feel like, okay, you know what? He can make the country safe again. He can start righting the wrongs. Emotionally, he has the ability to calm some of the more frazzled emotions, okay? So that's where he's at. Bernie. Now, he has got some lovely cards here, okay? He's got the Wheel of Fortune, which is usually, just not in somehow Trump's readings, but usually it is an indicator of good fortune, right? Karmic blessings coming to you, happy things happening. He has the Ace of Pentacles, which again is talking about, success, new money streams, perhaps. He may get some supporters from other candidates. Okay, so there's that going on, but he has the Four of Swords, and so that's kind of indicating that maybe, just maybe, there may be a little bit of a slowing down or a stalling out. Do I think it's permanent? Probably not, because he's very strong, but for right now, it looks like he's got some really, really good stuff going on, but there is something that is pulling back not really even pulling back the energy as much as stalling the energy, holding it. So let's see how that unfolds. Who to judge? Okay. He's going to work really hard to hang on to his supporters, okay? It's going to be a bit of a battle for him because there are certain groups or areas within the country where he really does not have very strong support. And so he's going to work very, very hard at holding on to his supporters and trying to move that forward. Now, he has two things going for him. One is that in many, many ways, he is viewed, I want to say, as almost the most honest of the politicians. He's very much seen as a straight shooter. In some ways, he's very much seen as the younger version of Biden, okay? He has the smarts, if you will, right? He's had military experience. He's very fluent in a bunch of languages. He's very well spoken, quite eloquent. But there are things kind of that are going to be hard for him because he does, like I said, there are pockets of the country that are frankly just not warming to him. Tonight, I want to say that he's going to be very happy, it looks like, with the results. Now, does that mean he's going to come out ahead? I don't know. But it definitely looks like he's going to be pleased with his showing, if you will. So there's that. Who's this? Warren. Okay. Now, Elizabeth Warren looks like she's having a little bit of trouble here. And this is the thing, okay? I know that there are especially a lot of women out there who are really, really pulling for her because she is a female. Bottom line, she's just a female, and everybody wants a female president because they figure, you know what, she can't do any worse than the men can. However, her downside is going to be that when people really, really start thinking about how is Elizabeth Warren going to do in a one-on-one debate with Trump, for like 75% of the people out there, the first thing that comes to mind is the word Pocahontas. So it feels as if in some ways, if she were to go head to head with Trump, even though she has some great ideas and people are really liking her, I don't think she actually right now has the strength to actually feel as if she could. It's almost like this is the thing, right? The thing with Elizabeth Warren is that she is fighting somebody who is all emotion. That's Trump, all emotion. And she's coming at people with facts and figures and numbers and the logic of things. Well, you know what? When you're scared and you're frightened and you're reacting, you don't want to hear logic. You want to hear reassurance. So, and reassurance, again, is an emotional response. So I'm thinking she might have a bit of a tough time tonight. Does that mean she's out of the race? No, it doesn't, not by a long shot. But I think that there may be a little bit of disappointment with how she does today. Is that disappointment federal? Is it across the country? I don't know. But I think maybe she might be disappointed. Perhaps some of her supporters might be a little disappointed. And Klobuchar. Now, from what I understand, she has some strength just, I guess, because of the fact that it's in Iowa, okay? So interesting with her. She has the Queen of Pentacles here, which is sort of indicating to me that, you know, in some ways, she comes across as the no-nonsense mom, okay? Warren comes across kind of like the learned grandma, if you will. No age slights in there because I'm really closer to Warren than I am to Klobuchar age-wise, okay? So I'm not saying anything about age. I'm just saying that she has that energy, Warren has that energy of sort of being, you know, wise, and she looks at things from a very broad perspective. Amy Klobuchar looks at things like a mom. In some ways, she has a lot of Nancy Pelosi type energy, where it's like, I just can't put up with the crap, and so let's just talk clearly and plainly, and, you know, let's get this thing done. So that's a good for her. That's a plus for her. And frankly, she has a message that a lot of people like to hear. One of her strengths is that if you're really keen to end up with a female president, and I don't mean to break anybody's heart today, but I don't see it. I have long said it is going to be a male president with a female vice president who is going to then take a good solid run at the presidency the next time around. That hasn't changed for me. I will certainly let you know if it does. But Klobuchar has a really good message. And as I said, for those people who want a president that is female, Elizabeth Warren sort of does not resonate with people on an emotional basis, where Klobuchar seems to. She really has that earth mother, no nonsense, sit down, let's have a beer and let's discuss this kind of attitude. And that's actually really, really attractive to some people. Also, she is more middle of the road. She falls into kind of that same category as Biden and Buttigieg. And that's going to become a problem, right? Because again, it's going to boil down to that extreme left kind of, we want everything fixed and we want it done now. And we don't care what has to get broken to fix it. And you know what? I only have two words for that: Tea Party. I'm not saying they're the same, but I am saying that radical, dramatic push for change doesn't tend to go well. It gets old very fast because people sort of end up feeling like a little bit almost like militant, okay? So, wow, I wish I had a brilliant answer for you about how this is going to turn out tonight. I definitely think Biden's going to do well. I think Bernie Sanders is going to do well. I think Buttigieg is going to be pleased with how he's done. I feel a little bit like Elizabeth Warren may actually have to face some of her bigger obstacles. And I don't mean she's not going to do well today. What I'm saying is the results of today and wherever the next one is, New Hampshire, wherever it is, it may give her some indication of where her strengths are and where her weaknesses are, frankly, where she's not holding a position of strength, and she's going to have to really, really shift her message a little bit so that she can attract more support. And Amy Klobuchar, like I said, she's got a good message. For right now, she does not have enough strength in numbers behind her. Now, if I understand it correctly, there's kind of like a vote, and then there's kind of a runoff vote, and then she may do really well kind of not in the first round, but perhaps a little later on. And I don't know how many rounds it's going to take because I just really don't understand how these things work. And please don't send me a bunch of information because I've already received a bunch of information. I'm still confused. And sometimes maybe it's better if I don't actually understand everything completely because then I'm just working a little bit more intuitively, and you have to excuse when I don't get things exactly correct. So what does this tell me? Well, let's do one more card for each of them and see if I can get any more clarity. Wow. Oh my God. Every single one of these all got high arcana cards. We've got the Ace of Swords for Biden. So that's talking about just his strength. He is seen as fair. He is seen as kind of like the rule of law. And I know that there's a lot of people out there who don't like Biden, and they're saying, you know what, I'm so tired of these sick old white men. And I don't know, I'm not American, but energetically, he is also the one who brings a great deal of comfort and reassurance to people. And that cannot be underestimated or minimized. Bernie has temperance. So there's a balance there. There is a balance. I think in some ways, Bernie, how do I want to say this? It feels a little bit almost as if he is going to, it feels like he's going to come out kind of almost exactly where they expected him to come out. And I don't know what that means exactly, but it feels like there's not going to be a great upset one way or the other with him. Buttigieg has the Lovers, so that's really cool because it does mean that people are joining forces. They're coming together. There's a kind of a coalition happening with him. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually doesn't end up doing quite well tonight. Elizabeth Warren with the Strength card. So again, that's telling me that her logic, her ideas, her plans, I have an answer for that, or I have a plan for that, whatever it is she says, is one of her greatest strengths. But this is going to give her pause to think about what maybe are not her strengths and how she can get those a little bit more balanced out in line. And Death for Klobuchar. So, what is that? Is that the ending? I don't know. Is it that she's going to have to reevaluate things, look at things, or does this mean that it is the end of her career as a senator and she's going to move forward into a new position? I don't know. I consider Klobuchar sort of a bit of a dark horse, if you will. I don't even know if that's the right word, but I see her sort of lagging behind everybody else. Is it possible that she might just burst out? Sure. It's possible for anybody at this point. Okay, so that's what we have. I don't know if you found that comforting or insightful or what you found it, but I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it gave you some answers. So today we've got closing arguments, and we've got that caucus going on in Iowa. So it's a busy day, and I ask that you all keep your thoughts positive, keep them clear, step away, go outside, read a book, dance to some music, take a walk outside, do whatever you need to do, but keep yourself emotionally balanced. It is really, really important. I know I sound like a broken record about this, but it's just really, really important that everybody stays as positive as they can. And I mean positive with positive words and positive intentions. Okay. I hope that's helpful, people. Again, thank you so very, very much. Your support for this channel and, of course, Soulprint Insights has been so heartwarming to me. It just touches my heart in ways you can't even understand. It's amazing. And I thank each and every one of you because you are the ones who are doing it. You are the ones who are creating the momentum. So until next time, take care. Be well. We'll see you soon. Bye.